Sorry, lack of music. Yeah, that was weird. Okay, I think I'm back on. Hopefully I am. Can you see me? If you can, give it a thumbs up. More importantly, can you hear me? I think you can. I'm back in the billiard parlor, as you can see. The studio is still out of commission. It's not totally out of commission, but there's a really loud tornado-like fan over there that has screwed up everything for me. And the fan, hold on one sec, be right back. Okay, hi back. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm a little bit discombobulated today because I was to get this new network switch in today to replace the one that's making tornado noises over there, and it'll be back soon. It's, man, I've never heard a networking switch, but apparently, so I got it, just so you know, I got a big, not a big, but an 8-port, 10 gigabit network switch, and the whole purpose of it was to allow me to transfer files very seamlessly and quickly between workstations and my NAS. But had I known that it was going to be this loud, I never would have ordered it. So I ordered a new one. It was supposed to be here today, and then I get this PS notice that, sorry, we've rescheduled it for you for tomorrow. So we'll have to do the parlor, which is convenient because right after I finish this, that's where I'm going. Until the wife calls me and then we go walk the dogs. All right, this is 0 days to expiration. The final hour show. This is the final hour of the market. Today is an impactful day because it was CPI day, and that's core inflation. Was anticipating the core inflation report. There was heightened volatility in the market. There was front-running futures market. And then when it finally came out at 8:30, let's say that it was a dud. Yep, that's it. It was a dud. Numbers came in as expected. No problem. Yeah, I'm trying to show off my new duds here. You see this? What is this? It's like a nice little North Face thingy with the logo. Isn't that pretty? Got the new hat. I'm all set. So I got merch. Someday I'll have it available to anybody that wants to. You may want to. I don't know if that sounds arrogant or not, but it's cool. I like the logo, and everything's going well. You might as well celebrate that. So the microphone keeps on getting in the way of the logo. How will I fix that? All right. Today we had CPI day, and I want to tell you about a trade that I put on that worked out very well. You can call it a 0 DTE day because I intended it for the 0 DTE. However, I put it on near the end of the session yesterday. And the reason why I had to put it on at the end of the session yesterday is that because it was an equity option, there was no way to get it in prior to the guy coming out. So that's why it went in yesterday. So that's what I did. I put on an EX, one of our patented Batman trades. Maybe if I do that. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. It was one of our patented, I shouldn't say patented, there's nothing patented about it. That's more of a figure of speech, but it is our Batman trade. The reason why we call it the Batman trade is because it is 2 butterflies, which have like triangles, and they're on either side of the market, so they look like Batman's ears. And it was a cool trade. I put on a particularly unique, not unique, man, I'm using all these superlatives. Nothing we do is unique. Nothing we do is special. It just makes money. Maybe it is unique because there aren't too many people that are doing this. I know that for sure. So we put on an unbalanced fly on either side of the market. Now, what is an unbalanced fly? It's different from a broken wing fly, although some unbalanced flies can look like broken wing flies. An unbalanced fly is one that has different weightings of X from the left side to the right side. But more specifically, the unbalanced fly is essentially a symmetrical fly, or one that is balanced, where you have a, let's say, one width vertical on one side, another width vertical on the other side. They're the same, and then they share a center strike or short strike. And then you slap a credit spread on one side. And then that kind of makes it lopsided. Now, you can make it so that the risk is exactly the same, or you can keep it lopsided so it looks like a wing fly. That's really up to you. The cool part about it is there are advantages of putting on the unbalanced fly over a regular symmetrical fly, and there are also some caveats to it, too. And because of that, we can use it to model exactly how we think the market's going to behave the next day. And it also provides us with the ability to be able to adjust a fly. Now, you can't adjust flies. There's really no adjustment capability. You can't roll them in one side into the other. You certainly don't want to roll it out and collect a debit. That's dumb. And we don't want to roll it forward to the next day. This is 0 DT. We're counting on collecting today, not tomorrow. So from that point of view, flies aren't very flexible. However, when you slap a credit spread onto it, that thing is piggybacking on the fly. And so in a way, it could be flexible, that component. You could do a number of things. You could remove it, or you could roll it out or in, as the case may be, but not, you could roll it up or down. That's the better way to say it, because when you say roll out, that implies going to a future date. You could roll it up or down. You wouldn't want to roll it down. You would want to roll it up or towards, or whatever price is going, you follow it. And the reason why you do that is that once price starts moving away from that, spread is gaining value. And so you can then close the spread and then reopen it closer price. Now, you would still be leaving the butterfly intact in there. It's like detaching from the butterfly and then moving on. So that's something that you could do. The pure act of just removing the fly changes the dynamics of removing the spread from the unbalanced fly and making it just a regular fly or maybe even a broken wing fly, is that changes the dynamics of that fly as well. And so you could do that in the event that maybe that side is getting challenged. And if you do that, typically what will happen is the far side of the balance fly underneath will rise up, that's typically what will happen. And when that happens, then, and if you've already collected some profit, you can create a situation where you have no risk to that far side of the. So in other words, if price gets out of hand, it's an easy way to control what would be significant risk simply by removing that spread, and then that risk is gone. Now, it could go the other way, because when you've removed the weight on one side, that's what it's like. It's like a balance, right? And then you remove the weight on that side, and that side goes up, and this side goes down. But if price is going this way, then you don't care. However, if it reverses, then you've got the same problem on the other side. That's the crazy thing about options, is that it's kind of whack-a-mole. You're whacking one mole and another one pops up. You whack that one and one pops up over here. Same thing with options. Sure, you can fix a problem on one side, but you're introducing a problem on the other. The good thing, though, is that you might only do that in the event that it makes sense and the momentum is in that direction, and you don't anticipate price reversing. There could be a lot of different situations. There could be a gamma situation. Time could be running out. So anyways, the unbalanced fly gives us this whole list of different capabilities that you don't have with just a symmetrical fly. And so anyways, we created the strategy such that it turned into a Batman. It was wide enough that it was well beyond the expected move on either side. So even if it did do some sort of outsized move, it really wouldn't have breached those sides. And even if it did, we have this tactic of being able to solve that problem. So in the middle, the cool part was that there was zero debit. In fact, one side had a 10-cent credit and the other had a 10-cent debit balanced out so that there was no debit on the middle side. So if price just stayed right in the middle, there was no chance of losing money. So there you go. No chance of losing money. If it moves in either direction, it'll start gaining money. Because we put it on the day before and opened up like that, it opened up in profit because the premium on both sides, both flies, had already started to come in. And it's pretty cool because now you have these two unbalanced flies that are both using their weak side, or their strong side on the inside, therefore creating profit directed towards between the flies, Batman's head. I don't know if that's all making sense to you, but it creates pretty much the perfect situation in a trade like this. And so it all worked out. And then if price is moving all over the place, back and forth, you have plenty of time to make a decision. You could take the profit right from between the middle of the flies and never really worry about going to zero because there is no risk there. The risk can be mitigated easily on either end. So it's just a wonderful trade. And what you're really hoping is that price will drift slowly to one of the ears or the other, because then not only can you make a nice profit in between early, later on in the day, you can make a huge profit, sometimes 4, 5, 6 times as much as what's in the middle. And that's actually what's happening today. Now, I got out of the trade early, but still made about $1,000 on what was essentially some margin risk, but no real cost to get into the trade. So the cost of the debit was zero. The margin risk was about $1,000. Now, I could have stayed in the trade, and it looks like had I stayed in, I would still be profiting. But unfortunately, like it is most times, I'm running a service. I'm supporting people. I am updating my server room and my studio. I wasn't playing pool today. And so I had to get out. I had to get out and take high quality problem. I took $4 profit. I think if I had stayed in, I could have potentially made another $4,000. So that's a shame. But I'm out. I'm happily doubled the size of the account. Not doubled it, but probably 80% on top, because I trade with a bunch of small accounts, and then I try to build them all up, right? Start really small and just build it up into a few dollars, and then consolidate them or take the money out and then start over small again and then try to build them up again, because it's fun. And it keeps me grounded too. The good thing about trading with a small account is that you're never really worried about losing a lot of money, and you don't want to take extraordinary risks either. You want to take small risks. So you might have, like within Thinkorswim, I might have several accounts, right? And most of the accounts are just holding money in case I want to fund an account or take money out and then turn it or whatever. So you can say that you're trading with plenty of money, and then when you want, you trade with what you have, and then if you want more, you just turn it in and then trade with that. So that's basically what I do. And so it's fun building up the accounts and then moving the money out and then using that money to buy my wife gifts and things. It's true. And that's the life of a trader. All right, Max likes the merch. Yeah, so this is, like I said, this is a North Face sweatshirt, and it is really comfy. Feels great. The logo looks fine. I got some more shirts too. I got a jacket. So I'm going to be like a walking billboard. Not that I go anywhere to show anybody, because I'm a hermit, live in the woods. But maybe people will see me online and say, wow, I would really like to have one of those shirts, Ernie. Oh, yeah, I want that North Face thing. That is sick. That is awesome. I know, I can hear you. As I said, the CPI data came in really bland this morning. Although there was a fair amount of volatility, it looks like we did hit the expected move, which I think was 72 points, and top to bottom, it was about 70 points. The market is still moving. Let me see if I can capture some of this. Bring open Thinkorswim. If you're online and you're watching, go to the chat, say hello. We'll do a roll call a little later. Make sure that you hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Let's see, we have some here. Do I see any good upside for copper? I would say that in general, we're going through a commodities super cycle. And I don't know if we've peaked or not, but not. The housing market, I think, is under. That's a principal component for copper, but then there's also the industry that's on the rise, and they are another big user of copper. Now, I don't know what percentage the industry uses copper over housing, new houses. That would be an interesting thing to find out. But I would suspect that, the EV industry might. How would I figure that out? How much copper is in single car's engine? All right, Jay Hen wants to know, is that overnight trade you just did something that you'll be doing more of? Thanks, nice Jack. I think so. See, All I says, I heard there will be a copper shortage this year or next. Now, why would there be? I've been buying full copper. Man, you got to buy a lot of rounds of copper in order to make that worth your while. How many copper rounds do you have to have in your possession to equal, say, one gold round? Think about that. So they price copper in pounds. Jay Hen's asking if it equals silver. I would say that it equals some rare earth materials and copper, because most of those engines, they're all wound with copper. Yeah, so you would need 1,000 ounces of copper for 1 ounce of gold. And I got some gold around here somewhere. Let me see. I got some over here in the gun case. Yeah, here we go. So this nice little beauty here. You see that? Isn't that pretty? In my hand, I'm holding about $1,850, something like that. Beautiful coin. Oh, wait a minute. I think I might have a copper round here. Hold on. I do. And this copper round is in the form of a fake Bitcoin. So this copper round here is worth what? Maybe 15 cents? 20 cents? I don't know. Is that about right? Maybe a little bit more? Tell me, what would you rather have? All right, All I says it's worth $1.25. Whee! With premium. $1.25. Do you do TM? I see a pic of Swami Mahesh Yogi. No, you do not. That picture right there? That's far from the yogi. That's Bob Marley from the Wailers. That's the Soul Rebel poster. But I do yoga. I do Bikram yoga, and what else? Sun salutation. So I do some yoga. I haven't been able to do the Bikram in its full capacity lately because I don't have access to a hot studio. However, I still do some of the movements, the 26 movements. But the question was, do I do dental meditation, TM? I do also meditation, but I don't do dental meditation. I do my own kind of meditation. I largely walking meditation and breath work. as I am a practicing Zen Buddhist. I am also a Taoist priest. Isn't that? I actually married my brother. So bet you didn't know that about me. But that's what the swoosh is all about, right? That's the Zen circle. So you are a Bitcoin maxi yet? No. I don't have control of any Bitcoin. Now, do I own some Bitcoin? Yes. Why don't I have control of it? The reason why I don't have control of it is that I've got about half of a Bitcoin and it's sitting on some computer somewhere. I don't know exactly where that computer is, and I don't know what the password is yet for the wallet to get it. But there is about a half a Bitcoin out there that I once had control of. And I've had lots of Bitcoin, and I do actually control a lot of Bitcoin within a fund, but it's not mine. So then, of course, I have the copper round coin, which is, it's so Manel. Is that how you pronounce it? He saw the Batman trade and he thought it was great. All right. Max says, I did a 10-day retreat in Surat. Oh, no kidding. In Thailand in 2014. That's cool. I meet every day. I do a 4-mile walking. I do breath work and some yoga, mostly Bikram yoga or Bikram style. And yeah, that's what I do. Keeps my svelte physique going. Yeah, there's lots of walking meditation around here because I live in the middle of a wildlife sanctuary. I've got a bunch of acreage myself, surrounded by 4,000 acres of conservation land. And so we have the deer and the coyote and the fisher cats all out there and all the birds and everything else. So it's really nice. All Eyes wants to know, do you see upside potential for certain cryptos in general the next 2 to 3 year cycle? Don't make me talk about that, really. I quite frankly think all crypto is a Ponzi scheme right now. Bitcoin might be something real, maybe, but quite frankly, Bitcoin, its only value is the value of the next greatest fool. In other words, as long as you have enough fools to go in and buy it, then it has value. As soon as people become disinterested in Bitcoin, its value completely disappears. And there are a number of risks that could cause Bitcoin to go down. Now, will that happen? I think that there are a number of fools to keep at least some value going in Bitcoin. The problem is that it's going to be self-defeating eventually. That if Bitcoin becomes too full, then when they hoard it, its value will come down. And then when maybe it's a vicious cycle. When its value comes down, then they're going to want to sell it. And then maybe that's when I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not a better gold. It's not digital gold. It's not a store of. It is completely a speculative investment. And what's good about it is that you could probably make money off that speculative investment. But I think that I'd much rather own this. Much rather own that. Now, I have been talking about buying gold since November, and that's done very well. Besides, with gold, see what I'm doing right now? I can't do this with Bitcoin. I cannot hold it. This is mine. And then you might say, if you have your keys, then you own your coins, right? So Bitcoin has been up the past few days. So there's been a little bit of excitement in it. I'm not sure why. So All I says I'm holding either way. I've rolled lots of Bitcoin profits into physical metals over the years, thanks to your insight and Don's. Yeah. That's been basically my mantra is that you make profit on this and then turn it into something physical. Something that you can hold or something that will earn money. See, that's the other thing is Bitcoin can't earn you any money. Now, gold, on the other hand, can't really earn you money either. But gold is really the most stable store of wealth that there is, and it's been that way for 5,000 years. So that's what I'm going to stick with. Coin is a speculative investment, and you can make money off of it, and that's fun. I personally control about 500 Bitcoin, but a lot more Ethereum. But we've divested most of it before everything just came crashing down. It's funny having control of it but not owning any. I have really no desire, absolutely no desire to own any Bitcoin. I know that sounds crazy. Maybe I should. Maybe it should be like a backup, and I should have at least some. But I think that Bitcoin is going to fall some more. I think that we're going to see sub $7,000 Bitcoin, maybe even just to hold on to it and say, hey, I got it. I got some, right? But what All I said is really my primary thing. Just take whatever I make and turn it in. As a matter of fact, if you want to join my service and pay me in gold, I will gladly accept it. Gladly accept payment in gold. All right? I'm announcing it right now. I accept gold as payment. So if you want to pay me in gold, just tell me how, that you want to do that, and I will arrange it. Yeah, some good comments. So Robro's asking, you married your brother? Yes, I did. I married my brother. I didn't marry my brother. Is that what you're asking? You trying to put words in my mouth? Yes, I performed the ceremony for my brother and his lovely wife. Now, I sold all my gold back in, I guess it would be April of this year. And now I've been buying it back. So I sold it all, got rid of even my pre-1933 gold, and now I am buying it all back. I haven't bought all of it back, and so I've missed out a little bit, but I also made a lot on the gold that I sold. But that's another thing I think that you should probably do if you're going to buy gold. Buy pre-1933 gold, but know what you're doing. Buy only graded by PCGS or NGC, and that's it. Buy it at auction. Get a good price on it, and it will appreciate in value through its numismatic value and also through its value as well. But that's what I would do. You were sitting on it too long. Was it ever in profit, Max? Let's see, 123 Happy Street. Have any guess on the final 30-minute direction? Seems downward since 2 p.m. I'm hoping that it continues, but I don't know. I'd have to look at, let's see, let's check out the market charts. Yeah, it looks like it's been drifting down. Yeah, I don't have any answer for that. It's probably sitting right in the middle of between where I used to have the two butterflies, but I've taken those off a long time ago. And I told you guys when I took them off. I got to be careful who I say that to. Let's see. But Max, are you part of the service? That's the thing. You're trading. Are you trading the XSP or SPY? Hopefully it's the XSP. So All Eyes bought Maples since he's in Canada. This is what I got to say about Maples are pretty good because first of all, Canada, they put out the pure gold maple, and so that's a good deal. Although the U.S. also puts out the Buffalo, which is a pure gold. And the problem with, maybe it's different in Canada, but here in the States, if you try to redeem your maples versus your eagles, this would be considered an eagle. If you try to redeem your maples versus your eagles right now at least, there are very few dealers that are going to give you spot, where dealers will give me spot plus maybe 1 or 2% for the eagle. But so you'll take a little bit of a hit, and so that's the big thing. And when it comes to silver, you'll take even a bigger hit. The silver maples, although if I was going to have an alternative to the eagles, the American eagles, it would definitely be the maples because they are the most liquid besides the eagles. But generally, you're just way better off with good old U.S. American eagles, whether it's the silver ones, their premium on them is just outrageous. It's off the charts. But the premium on these guys is not too bad, about 5%, and then you can redeem them for about 1% over spot. Of course, you wouldn't redeem them unless you had already made up the premium and could make something on them, unless you absolutely needed the money. So All Lives is saying in Canada, maples go for spot. Britannia's, yeah. And that's really weird. Britannias are a beautiful coin, and they have a lot of security features on them, and they're just expertly minted. And it's just amazing that they go for so little. So really the only choice, in my view, is to go the eagles. And silver, the silver thing is like the same thing with copper versus gold. Right? How much silver do you need to equal one of these things? You need several rolls. You need several rolls. You need several rolls to equal just one coin. And you're going to pay huge premium on top of that. Way more than 5%. Way more. So just go gold. If you can't afford to buy an ounce at a time, then buy a quarter ounce. A quarter ounce will do you just fine. And you'll still be paying way less premium than you pay on the silver. And your redemption will be better. So that's plus in one small little bit, you can hold a lot more value in a small area with the gold. Way, way more. Yeah, I also bought all those before all the crazy premiums on a theory on why the U.S. Silver Eagles premiums are so high. Will they be highly collectible in the future possibly? No, they're not. They're never going to be collectible. A silver eagle is never going to be collectible unless you have a first proof or something. It's not worth it. Or if you get one of the new Morgans or peace dollar proofs, they might be worth something. But there were so many of them minted that it's just not worth it. If you're going to get collectible, get rare coins. I'll be right back. Hold on. Let me show you. I had to go to the safe. By the way, it's guarded by C4 and guard dogs, Rhodesian Ridgebacks, and also the 2A, if you have any ideas. Plus, you can't get near my house. Anyways, and even if you could, you'd never get into the safe. This is what you need. If you're going to collect silver, this is what you want, all right? See that? MS67. Now that is a pretty coin. That's a very valuable coin, by the way. That's an 1880S San Francisco mint. MS67, one of the best grades you can get. You get that. What else do we have here? This one's pretty. Gold shield. Let's see what else. We got some other. I don't have any gold to show you. I sold it all. There's an old Indian head cent. It's pretty rare. Mint State 65. Or how about something like this? It's our Carson City, 1978 Carson City. Something like that. Now that's worth collecting. I have other Carson Cities. What else do I have here? Oh, this one's beautiful. This one has a CAC sticker on it, which makes it worth extra money. That's the green sticker right there. Plus it's a gold shield. So it says MS67. That means it's been MS68. That's a beautiful coin. What else? I got all kinds of stuff here. Mostly I collect real end coins. And that's what I would do. They're all mint, all graded by PCGS, all at least. The lowest grade I have is MS65, most or higher. This one here is one of the few that I have that is less than 65. This is a 64, but it's proof-like. It's a deep mirror finish on it. So you can actually see yourself in the mirror, the finish. That's nice. What else? Oh, I have so many of them. I have other proofs. Do I have another one? Yeah, here's another proof. Look at that. This is called a deep mirror proof. It's hard to tell on this, but when you look at it, you say, I can see myself in the field. So that's pretty. So yeah, if you're going to collect coins, you have to have graded coins that actually have real value, and there's not a coin there that's worth less than $1,500. Most of them are $2,000 to $4,000. That's what you want to collect. And I used to have a lot of gold coins that just like that, but I sold them all. I sold them all when they peaked out in April, or they were close to peak. But now that they're coming back, who would I sell those to? See, that's because you don't know how to sell them, all eyes, and you're not going to the right shops. Or you could sell them at auction, right? So first of all, you need to have things that are actually worth holding. And so you have to have knowledge of what coins that you want. So I only buy coins that have real value. And there are some coins that are just hard for me to get that I can't even get in MS65. Some of the ones that are in the 90s, 93s, 94s, they're really tough. But I'm looking for them and I want them. I don't want them in MS63 or 64. I want them in 67, but they cost like $20,000. You wait until you find a deal, you get into it. So there are lots of good dealers around that will pay that, particularly ones that cater to high-end collectors. So, yeah, it depends on, when you say you have graded Morgans, it depends on what grade they are. So I only get 67, 66, 67. I have a couple of 65s, but only if they're proof, and those are exceptionally rare. And so by holding those really highly graded ones, they come at an extreme premium. A 2013 reverse proof buffalo. Those are okay. I look at those as they're really just modern bullion, but having it as a proof, I guess, is okay. But I think that the real value is in the older pre-1933s, the ones that are truly rare. Because look, how many of those reverse proof gold buffaloes did they make? They made a lot of them, a real lot of them. But how many did they make of St. Gaudens 1911 or something that is in mint state 65 or 66? There might be a couple on the planet. That's what you want. You want the ones that are exceedingly rare. And you pay a little bit of a premium for them, but you hold those and they're going to appreciate in value like 10 to 15, 20% a year. And in some years they have spike values. And if you create a collection that's maybe of a typeset or something, you might be able to find a collector that will buy the collection at a premium on top of the premium, because they know how difficult it is to get certain coins together. But that's what you want to do. That's how and I can go to the dealer and I can get rid of any one of these today. I'll go in there, he'll look at them, he'll write me a check, because he knows that he can turn around and find a collector to sell them to him almost immediately. Now, when I buy these, I'm buying them all at wholesale prices. I don't buy them unless I can get them at a wholesale price. So I'll either scope them out on it, like at Heritage or something like that, or a Bowers auction, or one of the many other auctions. Occasionally you can find some on eBay, but not as easily. So you go to one of the high-class auctions and you can find these coins. And occasionally what will happen is a graded coin will come by in an auction, or there will be from a collection, and there will be tons of them. And one of them that is just sitting there will be hooked, and you lowball all of the coins, and you'll get into a coin at sometimes better than wholesale prices. I use AppMex. But AppMex doesn't have anything worth buying. They have good coins there, but you're going to pay for them. So you need to get the gray book. Get the gray book and find out what the dealer prices are. Never pay more than a dealer price, because when you go to the dealer, that's what the dealer is going to pay you, their price, right? So go to the dealer will pay you dealer prices. The trick is getting those coins at better than dealer prices. And the only place that you're going to do that, there are one of two places that you can do that. You're going to do it at an estate auction or an estate sale where the people don't really know the true value of the coin, or from an individual, or you're going to get it from an auction. That's about it. And then the auction, you're going to pay the fee, usually about a 10% fee. So you want to get it below 10% below the dealer price so that you can at least get it at the dealer price with the fee and everything. And, that it's not easy. It took me a long time just to collect these here. And I've got more, but these are nice ones. I've got higher quality ones too. It took a long time to collect those and a little bit of effort, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And if you want to have something that will really hold its value, that will hold its value. So there are two benefits in it. One is it holds its value, it appreciates over time, and you have fun doing it. And you learn a lot, and you meet people. You meet the kind of people that you want to meet. That's another good reason for doing it. And it's just like trading. When you're trading, the educated trader is always going to do better. The trader that has honed their craft and their skill, their ability to journal and get the right trades and then get out with the right amount on a consistent basis is always going to be the winner. Same thing with trading coins. Same thing with doing anything, right? Just get into it. Obsess with it. Obsess with the process. Wow, it's 354 already. And the market is still grinding its way down. So the trade that I put on, let me see if I can show that. I'll have to open up Discord and then show you a picture of it. All right, take care, all eyes. Yeah, a PCGS has great auction info, but go to Heritage, that's HA.com. They have auctions and new estate sales every week. That's what I would do. Wow, it's taking a long time to open up Discord for some reason. I have a feeling that my network is lagging here today or something. It's going slow. Maybe I can, let's see if I have a picture of it here. There we go. So this is what it looked like earlier today. This was the Batman trade. And so you can see the specification for the trade down there. And these are unbalanced flies. There are 2, 3, 1. So basically it's a 1-2-1 with a credit spread on it. So like this put fly right here, has a credit spread here that's slapped onto the back of it, and that's what's weighting it down. When you weight it down like that, you get this unique P&L curve so that it stays nice and elevated here in the center for a long period of time. And so that's how I played that. So I was able to, and then I waited for it to get right over here, and profit was up here somewhere when I got out. I don't know. Like that. See, that's a little later in the day. Yeah. See how it goes up like that? And then once I get out, then I bought the shorts back on the put spread just in case the market decided to dump. And if it dumped, then I could have made bank if it dumped, but it didn't. Started to, but then it reversed. To visualize, can you show where those price points would be on the chart? Yeah. So let's see if I can do that. So 39.20. 38.90, 39.20. So for the call, it was at 40.10. So the call, let's see, we have to draw. Let's see if I can get the price right here. 40.30. All right. So something like that. So that's where it would be. That's where the call fly was. The profitable area was a little bit inboard of that. I think that's where it was. 39.80. Yeah. 40.30 to 39.80. Yep, that'd be about it. There you go. So I put that on. IV rank for ES is 0.2. I used to be an IV rank guy when I thought Tasty Trade had something going on, and then I realized that it doesn't make any difference. Let's see, Max says, when it comes to placing the butterfly, what's more important, the 1 to 9 or getting closer to have a better shot at profit? It's the 1 to 9. I would say that the 1 to 9 is way more important. And if it doesn't work out, you probably put it on too late in the day. Try putting it on earlier in the day. You'll get a bit of better pricing, better placement. If you're doing the ES, do it earlier in the morning. Does the tent represent the shaded box? Yes. It's a little bit skinnier than that, but that's the tent represents the shaded box represents the long strikes. The tent is a little bit inboard of that, but it's close. All right. I can tell you this, the wife is going to be calling me in a few minutes. You placed them at 9:45. Then I'm surprised that you were never in profit. Were you in profit, though, at any time? Now, we're talking about the XSP. That would be the key. If you were in profit and you didn't hold on to that profit, then not sure what to say. I'd have to really examine exactly what you're doing there, Max, in order to see how we can improve upon that. But your risk with an XSP should have been super small, so it shouldn't have been too much of a hardship. Like in profit, $3 to $5 at one point, and that was it. On the other hand, it was tiny because it was an XSP. I was going to say, on the other hand, the risk would have been very small. Your commission was probably more than your risk. And that's okay. When you're playing with the XSP, there's only so much that you can expect. But when you're learning that's the best way to go with something that's going to cost you very little money. And so if you lose, you don't lose a lot. But you could potentially also make a great deal as well. All right. Yeah, the wife is going to be calling me any second to say, hey, we got to go walk the dogs. So that's where I have to go now. Let's see if we can get the big head back on here. And hopefully tomorrow we'll be on the office over there. We'll see. Thank you very much. All right, everybody. Peace to you all, and we'll see you tomorrow. And now for the music. Dude, have a good one.